Perhaps the most well-known trait of Sigma guys is that of the lone wolves of society. Because they are rarely seen in large gatherings and are rarely the center of attention, they give the impression of being introverted to many people on the outside. Instead, they favor playing the observer in group interactions and prefer to remain on the periphery. Additionally, they much prefer to be by themselves. Sigma males feel their importance and success in the time they spend by themselves, whereas the majority of society spends their time vying for the attention and praise of others. As a result, Sigma guys may appear even more enigmatic than they already are to people outside the community. So let's examine every strategy Sigma guys use to differentiate themselves from the group and make the most of their alone time. Holding on to their energies. Being around other people can be highly exhausting for more introverted personality types. Sigma males get their power and vitality from spending time alone, whilst extroverts get it from being among people and socializing in groups. To feel confident in their skin and the fact that they are constantly pursuing growth, they use this time to recharge their internal batteries and engage in all the necessary self-reflection. Sigma males typically experience a considerable decline in energy levels, which can harm their mood and ability to concentrate if they don't have enough time to themselves. Possessing the capacity to assume additional responsibilities, Sigma males who can manage their own time have more control over how they use their time and energy and can take on more obligations than other men. Sigma males typically gain the respect of the authoritative figures they encounter since they can look after themselves and handle situations on their own. When power brokers recognize their commitment and dependability, they are more inclined to give them additional duties, which is exactly what Sigma males desire. Getting the job done quicker due to their focusing skills. The speed and accuracy with which Sigma guys complete their work frequently astound others. This skill is connected to the Sigma male's cool-headed attitude. Sigma guys can maintain total focus in the face of hardship or disaster and are not easily sidetracked by fear or anxiety. One of a Sigma male's most valuable traits is focus, which enables him to give any project his whole attention when it's called for. Because of his singular focus, a Sigma guy frequently completes tasks much more quickly than those around him, impressing them and winning their admiration right away. Selecting to engage one person at a time. Like many individuals with more introverted personality types, Sigma males may have a reputation for coming off as being a little withdrawn or reserved. Simply put, they place more value on time spent alone or in smaller, more personal settings than they do on time spent in large groups. When they do choose to interact with people, they typically favor one-on-one interactions. Sigma guys gain greatly from having friends who they know deeply and meaningfully, and they spend their social time having one-on-one encounters that foster open and honest friendships. Knowledge acquisition through hobbies. Sigma guys are inherently very intellectually thirsty. They have a strong desire to understand everything they can about the world around them. They typically chose diversions that teach them a new skill or provide them with fresh information about the world, which shows in the interest they choose to pursue in life. Sigma guys have the potential to learn a great deal more about the world by pursuing their passions and hobbies alone as opposed to using them as a means of purely social interaction. They usually have a broad range of hobbies and are often thought of as jacks of all trades by the people around them. Doing hobbies alone is one of the major ways through which Sigma males develop themselves and gain a deeper understanding of the world around them. The ability to move about at will. Male Sigmas dislike being confined. It doesn't matter if this applies to a certain person, place, or position. Sigma guys have a severe obsession with preserving their sense of independence and will go to any lengths to extricate themselves from constraints. They reserve the right to live freely and move about as they like by spending a lot of time alone and declining to make unnecessary commitments to others. Many Sigma males use their lone wolf nature to travel and move freely over the world since they have a strong curiosity about the world. Skillful observational abilities. Contrary to popular belief, Sigma males are naturally gifted observers because they spend so much time alone. They spend a lot of time alone thinking about who they are and what they have seen in others. The capacity to read people's minds becomes more refined as a result, and Sigma guys are frequently observed to have exceptionally high levels of intuition in social situations. Sigma males can improve their skills of observation by spending time alone so that Nothing escapes their attention when they are in a social setting, adjusting without having to be told. Because they are so perceptive and analytical, Sigma guys are essentially masters of environmental adaptation. People may mistakenly believe that Sigma guys are awkward or uneasy with themselves since they are quiet and prefer to spend most of their time alone. But nothing could be further from the truth than that. The reason Sigma guys can spend time alone and care less about what other people think of them is that they are so at ease in their skin. When they do wish to interact with others, they are adaptable enough to get along with anyone and broad-minded enough to do so without ever needing direction. It's time to indulge their interests. Because they are alone a lot, Sigma males have more time than most to devote to their interests and work on things that truly fulfill them on the inside. This is in part because Sigma guys don't look to others for approval and, when they are by themselves, focus on passion projects that are satisfying to them and them alone. Sigma guys are frequently incredibly imaginative and almost unintentionally become inventors in their fields of passion as a result of this approach. Taking solo tasks, those that are around a Sigma male immediately realize that he is better left to his own devices when it comes to his work, especially in a professional setting. Male Sigmas are highly skilled and devoted, and they won't settle for anything less than their absolute best work. Additionally, they have a distinct way of thinking that is typically somewhat unconventional, which enables them to develop answers that might not have occurred to others. They function best in an environment free from distractions, thus people frequently give them the freedom and authority to do things on their own. For everyone's benefit, this is the time when a Sigma guy truly shines and the best job is completed. Developing good analytical skills. Sigma males are born with a naturally analytical approach to life. They rarely make impulsive decisions and try to always apply rationality and not get sucked into emotional decision-making. Their cool and collected demeanor aids them in this, and the time they spend alone goes a long way in developing this analytical outlook even further. Instead of simply observing what goes on around them and letting it go over their heads, Sigma males take the time by themselves to truly reflect upon and process everything that they've experienced. This leads them to be able to read situations with a high degree of accuracy and makes them expert problem solvers. Being able to come up with unique ideas, spending so much time alone, absorbed deeply in their thoughts allows Sigma males to come up with some pretty unique ideas. What's more, they have very little interest in what others think of them, and therefore when they are left to their own devices they will come up with ideas that are entirely their own and not designed to impress or please others. When a Sigma male needs to come up with a unique solution to a problem, the best thing for him to do is take some time out by himself and have a good deep think. Being able to self-manage. Being able to self-manage is perhaps the greatest life skill that Sigma males manifest as a result of the ample time they choose to spend alone. They are not called lone wolves for no good reason. From a young age, Sigma males usually feel pulled towards spending time alone and know that they would rather take care of themselves than have someone else manage them and do everything for them. They quickly develop a high ability to self-manage, which allows them to stand on their own 2 feet throughout life and accomplish everything they want on their terms without having to answer to anybody. The Sigma male is without a doubt the most uncommon kind of man in modern society. They are lone wolves who are compelled to have distinct perspectives from the rest of the pack. They live outside the boundaries of the social structure out of choice. It is only logical to wonder why these men are so uncommon in our culture given their distinct ways of thinking and doing. The truth is that the Sigma guy has a very complicated personality type that is difficult for many people outside the group to understand. These men can appear to be rather full of contradictions, and it's only in rare circumstances that these conflicting personality traits can come together to form a harmonious individual. If you are a Sigma male, you are probably well familiar with the set of inner contradictions that govern your way of thinking. For those on the outside, these may be hard to understand, but we're going to dive into the aspects of the Sigma male that make this type of man so rare. They are excellent team players yet enjoy working by themselves. Because of their distinctive method of problem solving, Sigma guys frequently spot errors or possibilities that others overlook. This enables them to think creatively and contribute something no one else can, which makes them a very valuable asset to a team. Because of this, Sigma guys frequently serve as highly regarded teammates on any team to which they belong. When it comes to brainstorming and ideation, they frequently assume the role of inventor and are frequently the go-to person for other team members. This Sigma quality's comical juxtaposition to the Sigma male's favored method of operation is what makes it so endearing. The Sigma guy typically only has genuine faith in his judgments and thoughts. In general, he doesn't like having people in positions of power tell him what to do and is frequently reluctant to accept other people's views. This results in an odd and unusual contrast in his personality type, whereby he makes a terrific contributor to a team even though he typically avoids them in favor of operating within a self-guided framework. They are lone wolves who do not crave attention. The fact that the Sigma man tends to be outgoing rather than introverted is another factor contributing to its rarity and elusiveness. These deep thinkers have unique ways of operating that result from a commitment to introspection and self-improvement. They value freedom and independence above all else and desire to assume as much personal responsibility as they can. Because they don't care about being accepted into the social structure, they nearly never act in a way that will gain them acclaim or favor, and they hardly ever bring attention to themselves. However, the somewhat paradoxical result of this is that the Sigma male's distinctive and quirky manner of thinking and acting may frequently lend him an air of mystery that tends to intrigue others around him. Despite never seeking attention, it is typical for a Sigma male to attract the interest of his peers despite never actively seeking it. It's very typical for Sigma males to have an easy time attracting lovers, even though they avoid seeking attention at all costs. Women frequently find his odd and enigmatic personality fascinating. This coy aspect of the Sigma male's personality greatly contributes to why they are so infrequently observed and recognized by the general public. Although they like to converse, they are not often outgoing. His considerable capacity for introspection and in-depth thought is one of the defining characteristics of the Sigma personality type. Sigma guys enjoy nothing better than digging deep into a subject, and they frequently may be seen consuming as much knowledge as they can about whatever it is that has captured their attention. Their extremely analytical minds like to be certain that they have fully analyzed and understood a subject. If a man who identifies as a Sigma male feels they haven't delved far enough into anything they are enthusiastic about, they will likely feel dissatisfied and develop a persistent intellectual itch. As a consequence of this love for thorough and deep intellectual exploration, Sigma males make for great conversationalists when it comes to deep topics. The fact that they spend much of their time alone contemplating life means that they often can offer a unique perspective when it comes to the world around them. Sigma males will be familiar with the experience of getting completely sucked into a deep subject matter, so much so that it can feel like the world outside of the conversation ceases to exist. Despite this love for deep conversation, it has to be said that Sigma males are often not the most well-versed in socializing. This makes deep conversation with a Sigma male as rare as it is fascinating. Despite their high level of rationality, they have a strong sense of creativity. We have the propensity to categorize people into rational and creative kinds when talking about personality types. While it's safe to argue that everyone possesses both of these qualities, at least to some extent, the Sigma man has a truly special combination of logical reasoning and creativity. The Sigma man views creativity and logical reasoning as complementary rather than as two separate components of his personality. The very rational way in which the Sigma male thinks may even be somewhat responsible for the creative side of his thinking. The combination of the Sigma male's intellectual thirst and his dedication to gaining a thorough understanding of the world through deep reflection lend him the ability to see things that others can't. His thoroughness leads him to often spot holes or gaps in reasoning that others miss out on, and this results in him asking the questions that nobody else does. Seeing the world through this unique perspective means that the Sigma male often comes up with a way of doing things that no others around him could have come up with. This rare duality is exactly the reason why some of the world's most creative innovators, such as Leonardo da Vinci or Steve Jobs, fit the bill for the Sigma personality type. Despite being born leaders, they despise taking charge. The relationship the Sigma man has with leadership may be his largest peculiarity. The Sigma man thinks independently and thoroughly, and he has an uncommon level of self-assurance. He may frequently act as a highly effective leader thanks to his confidence and creative method of accomplishing things. Others are frequently more than willing to follow his example because of his humble demeanor, and once he assumes a position of leadership, he finds it simple to win the respect of his subordinates. Funnily enough, considering that leadership is something that many other types of men in the social hierarchy aspire to reach, the Sigma male has no great love or desire for leadership roles. He may accept a position of leadership if he believes that it will allow him greater independence and the ability to implement his ideas, but the reverence and glory that accompany being a leader are not something that poses any appeal to the Sigma male. Sigma males will commonly identify with the experience of finding themselves in a leadership position without ever really intending to get there. Sigma males make for the rarest personality type among men, riddled with contradictions that may seem confusing or even incomprehensible to the outside. For a Sigma male, however, these contradictions make perfect sense and are simply the way he lives his life. If these contradictions sound all too familiar, the chances are pretty high that you may be a Sigma male.